to be talking about the 3M Open. We've only got a couple of regular golf weeks before there's the FedEx playoff and everything. So not a lot of golf left in the season, but we're here for it. And we don't have a studded field. We've got a lot of guys who are very just average, just a very average field, I guess you'd say. And because of that, I think you're going to see extreme chalk at the top. And the thing I would say is that this course tends to have a good history of guys who have played well in this course or courses similar. So I did a little studying on that. And yeah, we'll get into it. Sheets, any overall thoughts on this?
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, yeah, I've been noticing that Mr. Bobby has been getting into the showdown streets a little bit in the golf. So have you been putting up showdown exposures in the Discord?
Yeah, I do when I do them. I don't play every day, but yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And I actually had a couple lineups that, again, that's 2 weeks in a row. They had a little bit of a run last week. Kind of ran into a wall at the end, but I'm looking. Listen, I'm looking forward to this week. I don't really care who's playing. I'm ready to go. Although it's always scary when you like the guy who's like the highest priced guy who's the most likely to win is just a guy that you just don't think has any chance to win, like, ever. You know, it's like it's interesting. So we'll see what we come up with. I guess we'll just go through tier by tier. We'll do the same thing as always. And
yeah, I'll share my screen at this time.
Yeah, great.
And you'll get you guys will see where I'm at with ownership in this, because I did my early first run. I haven't done my next runs yet, but this is sort of, so it looks a little sloppy here, but let me just see what I've got. Let's go by salary. Okay. So obviously only 3 players over 10K. I personally think that, I mean, I think you're fine fading them. You're fine playing them. I don't like the guys this week that are coming back that had a deep run. Unfortunately, Sam Burns literally statistically probably has the best course fit of anybody, and Finau would be number 2. So I'm gonna have to figure that one out. But as of right now, like I'm okay with getting right around the field, but I probably am going to end up even a little bit higher because I like a lot of the 7K range.
Yeah.
So it's going to be easy for me to try to do that. So this is what I've got for right now. Sort of, a little less on Thigala, a little less on Burns, but I'm thinking about going maybe a little bit more. I'm sorry, a little less on Thigala and Burns. But I'm thinking about maybe evening it out and really just sort of, I don't know, playing sort of near the field with these top 3 guys, because I don't have a strong take. I think they are better than the next tier, but not by much. And I don't know. I'm sort of wishy-washy on the very top of the range. I would like to not have 1,000,000% Finau, but at the same time, I think he is the best golfer here. He's been the most consistent, and I think that it makes a lot of sense. So you're not getting any. I think I'll have exposure to all 3. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I currently, just as far as my projections and all that stuff go, I have Thigala rated below the other 2, just even relative to price and everything like that. And I have Finau and Burns just kind of rated higher. What can I say? So I do like them a little bit more. Finau at 30%. I'm going to end up probably doing it, but it certainly doesn't make me feel too good. So if I had to pick one to kind of like drop off, it would be Thigala. But again, like you said, I mean, I almost would rather not play anybody who played the Open last week if I could. Right. But then you were playing like nobody, So yeah, I guess Burns and Finau a little bit more than Sahith. That would be my attack of that range.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can see I'm just adjusting some things here because I realize in this next range, I definitely don't want as much Keith Mitchell as I did. Like, Keith Mitchell has played well here always, and that's what I'm sort of stuck on this one. He's the one I'm stuck with the most in this 9K range, because I always like Keith Mitchell. He's been just awful, just absolutely dreadful. But this is a course that he should play very well at, and he has in the past. Bhatia, again, you run into the same thing of him traveling back and having extremely high ownership. But I'm okay with, like, again, I'm going to play some of these guys because it's just really easy to get whatever you want this week. The highest, obviously, difference for me is in this whole tier is basically Poston. But I'm sort of near the field and everyone else, and I probably end up even I'll just do it right now. I want to get a little bit more of Poston actually than I currently have. So really like Poston. He's my favorite pick in this round, in this range.
I have Boccia currently like 25% projected ownership or something like that. That's just high for golf. You know what I mean? What else can I say? I do have him rated like pretty high, but geez, 25% for him just doesn't. I feel like I'm supposed to fade it, but he rates really high. And I'm looking at some of these other guys like, I'm really going to play Billy Horschel coming off of that. I'm not doing that. And he's 15% plus. So I guess my two favorites are going to be Keegan Bradley. I haven't heard his name in a little while. So maybe, even though he's even he looks like 15% owned, maybe he won't be 15% owned somehow. Okay.
He's a new captain, man. He's the captain of the U.S. team, so that's the only place I've heard his name recently.
That's why I've heard his name. Crap.
Yeah.
And then then we could go for my hero. We could go back to Clanton. It seems kind of filthy to play him in 9,300 over guys that have been professional for longer. They're like 1,000 cheaper. And it's not like he's going to be low owned either. I have him at 13%. So I don't know. So we got to pin this down. So I'm going to say, given ownership, given everything, I will say Bradley is my top of this range. And then if I had to pick like fades, I guess it would be, I just can't fade Boccia just because he's a lefty and he looks like the professor. You know what I mean? Like he looks like a professor.
I love him. I know.
But I can fade Horschel. So Clanton, just because that price looks so ugly, I'll probably try it. That and Bradley would be my top two from the range, I guess.
I gotcha. All right, let's talk about the 8K range. It's a little bit of a bigger range. We have no Justin Rose, by the way, which is very predictable. I love Cam Davis. Love is a strong word. I like that Cam Davis didn't play last week and probably is the best or one of the better players who didn't play last week. This is a course I think he should do well at. So I like Cam Davis. Basically, other than him, the only guy I'm well above the field on. I'm just going to add a couple percentage points. I want to make a little bit of a harder stand. Oh, I like Nick Dunlap a lot. I actually might want to go a little higher on Dunlap. And then I like McNeely. Those are my three guys in this range that I'm significantly over the field on.
So you hit on a good point, is that like all of the, not all of them, but the entire not all of them, but the entire, a good amount of the 7K range is going to look good. Okay.
Right.
Find a whole bunch of 7Ks that you're going to like. And so I think that by its nature, the 8K range is going to be a little bit underappreciated. So this is what I'm looking at. My top guy in the range is the one that stands out pretty heavy. Okay. And that's Tom Hoagie, but he looks like he's going to get sort of owned a little bit. So if you really want to get like interesting, you'll take the range that might be ignored and ignore the one guy in the range that's not going to be ignored. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then see what else you got. So the next two guys in this range that I will be recommending would be Taylor Pendrith and Eric Van Rooyen. So those are the two guys I kind of like here. So Van Rooyen and Pendrith, I think they're both going to just kind of get lost in the shuffle. And I like them.
Yeah. I was making some changes. I am adding a little extra percentage points after you mentioned them, just because I do think this is a wide open tournament, and it's just hard not to get a little bit spread out. Hoagie has the same concern for me that coming back from the Scotland, whatever, the whole trip. Anyway.
All right. So,
I forgot to mention Lee Hodges. I want to mention that Lee Hodges won this tournament last year, so of course no one wants to play him this year. I'm going to trust in that this course actually plays. People who play well at it tend to continue to play well at it, so I'm going to stick.
What's Hodges' price?
He's 82.
Nobody's going to play him.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
No.
I just programmed in 20% of them because I do want that. I want that difference. You know what I mean? I think that look, the guy won the tournament already. A lot of these guys are coming back from overseas. From overseas, sounds like they came back from a war. But so I just like the idea of getting.
I thought you were going to tell me he was like 6,700.
No, I know, because that's the thing. The price is a little shocking, but he did win this tournament, last year. All right. 75 to 79.
All right, so spin the wheel here. You know what I mean? Like we can't give all of them, but I will say that a whole bunch of them are in my top 20. You know what I mean? So what do you want to do here? Just give our favorite or like the most low owned? I mean, how do you prioritize this stuff? All right, I'll give the top overall, and then I'll give the top maybe the top 2 overall and the top 2 lowest owned, I guess, that I like. So Mac Meisner standing out to me as the top one for me, 75 to 79. But again, the difference between all these is just infinitesimal. But it's Meisner and then Kurt Kitayama. And honestly, both those guys are going to be significantly over 10% owned. It looks that way, but you can't play everybody. So right. I'll throw out one other. They're all over 10%. All right. I'll give you 2 more. Sam Stevens at 10. And then, and then I guess Ben Griffin at 10.
Yeah, and I have less program here for Stevens because he actually was in my hand builds a little bit of them. I'm a little worried about the Kitayama coming back, and same thing with Hadwin. So because of their ownership and because I like a lot in this range, I'm okay with not playing those guys as much. I really like Ben Griffin, even though he's coming back also, but he's going to have a little lower ownership, and honestly has played better than these 2 guys have. So I'm decent. I'm solid with Ben Griffin. Stevens again, a little, like I said, near the field. I really like Michael Thorbjornsen. I think he's a way you can get different in this pricing tier. Love Harry Hall. I understand he's going to be completely unowned, and that feels great because I'm going to have at least 5 times as much as the field. He's actually in my hand builds as well. Some of them. He's actually currently in my highest buy-in. Harry Hall is playing great. He just won a tournament last week. Like I want to jump on this when no one else is. The other one that the highest for me is Mac Meisner, and then Rico Hui are pretty much rounded out for what I like in this range. Oh, I guess Johnny Vegas. I'm a little bit over the field on Johnny Vegas. That feels a little too high for me, so I'm just going to go a little lower, and we'll go.
Rick in his video was talking up Harry Hall pretty nicely also, so that's pretty good. Yeah. All right, so under 77K to 7,500. Again, a whole bunch of like 10% owners. I'll give my top one just as far as having ranked, I suppose. It's like so close. I'll give you both of them. Very close between Eckroat and Doug Gim as far as his top ranked. And then is kind of so this Thurston Howell III from last week, the guy that like gave everybody a scare or whatever, like he's like not bad. You know what I mean? Like he's not just some idiot, and he's 6% owned, I guess. Go right back to that. So I will give Thurston Lawrence and Adam Svensson as possible.
Oh, Tristan. Oh, okay. The Lawrence. I was trying to figure out who you're talking about for a second. No, he's not bad. All right. So for me, just going down the line, you can see I'm underweight a good portion of the guys. I do like being a little bit over on Lawrence. It is weird because it's actually pronounced Tristan, which is really annoying because I thought Thurston as well. I actually do want some Sheamus power here.
It didn't matter because I had him in like 0 lineups last week. It's like,
yeah. So I'm going to go with I had him in a couple, but not many. So Lawrence, I like Shipley a little bit. I want to be way over the field on Jake Knapp in these type of fields. I think these are the kind of tournaments where Jake Knapp is like an interesting long shot bet to win. I really do. I think he's got maybe he misses more cuts and maybe he has more triple bogeys or whatever, but he's occasionally going to win tournaments like this, or at least top 5 of them. I really believe that. So I like getting ahead of him. In fact, I'm going to make a little bit more of a stand and get a little bit more ahead of him there. I like Gim, but I'm going to be probably near the field. I really like SH Kim, and I actually want to go a little higher on him than this. He profiles well. This is the one there's people out there talking like Austin Eckroat is going to be like 30% owned this week. I just decided, okay, that's a good enough reason for me just to get. I don't want none of them. I think this is too cheap for him, but I certainly don't think I want to be with like what might be a 20% owned Austin Eckroat. I like Pearson Coody. We haven't seen him in a little bit, so I think people kind of forget. And be happy to be overweight on Coody. Dylan Wu finished, I believe, tied for 2nd or 4th last year here. So I would like to get to Dylan Wu a decent amount, maybe even go a little bit higher than this number, get closer to 15. He's also in my hand builds. The other ones are Matthias Schmidt He finished, I think, 18th here, 20th or something like that last year. He's solid. Martin Laird is just, again, a guy who finished second here last year, who no one's going to play. I just like to get a little bit of exposure to that. Oh, he's down in the 6K. Sorry, I jumped too early. But yeah, that's pretty much.
All right, I'm gonna go a step further than you. Okay.
Okay.
And this is not my style. Everybody can play whoever you want. Everybody. I don't know everything. I'm not the freaking genius, whatever it is. But I will say this: if Austin Eckroat is in fact 30% owned, anybody who plays him should just like retire from DFS. Okay. Yeah. That's like the worst play I can even imagine. Like, first of all, you shouldn't play guys at that price at 30% owned anyway. And in this particular event as well, there's just so many other guys that are so close to him. It's just ridiculous, you know. So I would say that if in fact he was up 30% owned and somebody wins with him, congratulations to you. But I will never. I have him at 13% owned. As far as my projected ownership, and if he's even over 20, I'll also be shocked. But listen, I know how it goes with golf. If he's going to be 24% owned, it'll be -5 after 3 holes somehow. I don't know.
Right.
But I'm not doing that.
Yep. Yeah, I hear you. All right, down in the 6K sheets, I'm guessing you got a smaller pool than I.
Yeah, so I'm gonna steal yours. I think. I got 2 guys. I guess I'll come up with, and one of them I'm gonna steal from you. And the guy I'm gonna steal is gonna be the Carson Young.
Okay, let's go.
And the other guy I'm gonna play. I'm gonna give out is the floppy hat guy. I'll go Joel Dahman for 6,800.
Yes. Okay. So you named 2 of my guys. You can see those are the ones that I'm most overweight on. I added a little more to the Carson Young. Again, I got to rebuild my build because it's only got me 26 lineups because I've spread out too much. But I understand. I know how to whittle it down now. Kevin Streelman as a completely unowned dart is I think kind of interesting. He also finished in the top 10 last year. And I'm just interested in all these. Like I'll have little bits of exposure to a bunch of these guys, but mostly it's going to be Dahman. Mostly it's going to be Carson Young. I'm trying to see who else I have in here. Sung-Yul No actually profiles.
Wait. Who is this? Pronounce that again.
Sung-Yul No.
Okay. Someone you'll know. Someone you'll know.
Someone you'll definitely not know.
Okay. All right. Very
I heard
good.
some chatter about him this week and about his profile looking very good for this course. And I do think there's extreme variance in things like this. And it's in one of these guys at like 1% is going to end up just like whatever Lawrence last week. And although that was a tougher tournament, obviously, but like, I think some of these guys have shots. The other one I didn't actually mark down. I almost forgot he was in this tournament is Luke List. I definitely would like to be at least above, whatever is 1.5% ownership. Kalen Tarrant up at 5%, Battle Ape at 7%, Hardy 5%. Troy Merritt, I want to get my money back, so I'll put a little percentage on him. But that's most of my guys there. The 7K range is really where I want to do more of the stuff. Not so much the 6K range. I will mention that I will have some woo-woo lineups and I will have some cootie lineups. So and we'll see if I had the top 10 with those guys. I had the woo-woo cootie the 1 week where they all played well, and I had the two top spend ups obviously. But I think I might try that again in some builds this week. So all right, let's play the game.
Meanwhile, there's like 10 runs in this Reds game. It's like ridiculous.
What's that?
There are 10 runs in this Reds game.
Oh, God.
It's 7-3 in the third.
I'm so mad at myself just for not, because I thought about the Reds too, and I just,
I was like so excited just now. I saw that like I have some Pittsburgh, and they got the bases loaded with 2 outs, with bases loaded, and they have 2 runs up, and I'm looking, and it doesn't matter. It's like ridiculous. That's
nuts. Yeah, that's annoying.
Well, the good thing is I'm going to be late swapping to all guys no one's ever heard of in the late game, so that's good.
Well, also, just for what it's worth, Langoliers is not in the lineup today, if that means anything to you.
Nor is Mitch Garver, by the way.
Nor is Mitch Garver, yes.
All right, so let's do our thing here.
Okay, so 10. So I guess we don't say no. Who's winning this tournament, Sheets?
Yeah. Well, let's go. Let's go with I'll go with Akshay.
Okay, so let's see. You go with Akshay. I know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not going to. I'm going to say JT Poston.
Ooh, look at that. Let's go.
And Finau would be the logical choice, but I'm not going to go that route. Even though, again, I'm probably going to end up with 30% of them. All right. Under 10K to top 5.
I'll go with Keegan Bradley.
All right. I am going to go with Cam Davis.
Ooh.
Okay.
You could probably bet that. Well, you can't, but in the sports book market, I mean, you could probably get a good odds on that.
Yeah, I think so. I think both if you have Poston and him both in the top 5, that would be another one that you could throw in there. All right. Under 9K to top 10.
I'll go with my top play from the range, I guess. I'll go with Tom Hoagie.
And I'm going to go Mav McNeely. And then we get into the 7Ks, and I'm going to edit my percentages, obviously. Under 8K to top 20.
Anyone except Austin Eckroat. No, I will say I'll go with the. Should I be not gonna say chalk? I'll go with my top rated guy to no, you know what? I'm gonna go with another guy because forgot to mention him. I'm gonna go with Chan Kim.
Chan Kim is the darling of the Sims this week, apparently.
Oh, he is. He's the.
I was gonna fade him try to fade him just because he was getting talked about, and I don't know.
He's the hipster sim play this week.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm going with.
There's a lot of better options than the guy I'm going to name, or a lot of more logical options, but I want to stand by what I believe, and I am going to do this and say Harry Hall, and I'm going to add some percentages.
I like it. I like that a lot.
Different. All right, under 7K to make the cut.
I will go. And we haven't heard this guy's name. Well, we have heard this guy's name, so we'll let's go with Adam Schenk.
Adam Schenk. Okay. All right. And I am going to say Carson Young.
Yep.
For like the 700th time this year. And I've only been wrong like once or twice, but it's rare. I think he gets there. All right, Cheats. Who over 9K is missing the cut?
I have to do it. Billy Horschel.
I think that's actually a really fair bet. Like I would probably say the same thing. I'm going to take a different one just because to be different. I actually am going to turn this around in Thagala, by the way. I'm starting to turn my mind around. He did bail, he lost early, he bailed out early. Maybe I'm going to get more of him. Anyway, so I'm going to say all the guys I like. You know what? I'm going to say F everybody's new favorite boy toy, Luke Clanton. And he probably plays great this week, but I will say Luke Clanton is the one, and I'm going to lower my ownership on him.
So I will also let you know that Ellie De La Cruz is averaging 8 fantasy points per inning.
It's nuts, man.
We talk about him as being able to get 20 with no home runs. He has a home run as well. So home run, stolen base, 24 fantasy points in the third inning. There you go.
Oh man, that's funny. All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this weekend. And if I do have any showdown stuff, I'll post it throughout the weekend, but probably not going to be because I've got.
Hang on just a moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Through the weekend. Today's freaking Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, this is a golf show, though.
Okay. So I thought you were leaving for the whole weekend.
No. I'm leaving just to go to LA to help pack up and move stuff over. But I'm still planning on, I'll be here this afternoon.
You'll be around. Okay. Very good. Okay.